last one. Let's head over to Colin Cowherd. Colin, what's on the show today?
We're about to see a colossal mistake made in sports. And maybe an upset, I believe, tonight in sports. That's coming up.
Thanks, Colin. Time for our final topic of the day. Villanova and Michigan square off in the national championship game tonight. Nova is the biggest favorite in the title game since 2010, and they just shattered a Final Four record with 18 three-pointers on Saturday, but Michigan has won 14 straight. Shannon, who wins tonight?
I got Nova. Skip, we've never seen anybody shoot the three like this in the Final Four game.
Ever. No.
And of their 6 top players, 5 of them upperclassmen. Jalen Brunson was a freshman starter on that national championship team. He happened to be National Player of the Year. They're deep, Skip. They don't have a big team, but they got everybody that can put the ball on the floor, and everybody can shoot the three.
Yep.
So I expect them to continue. I don't know if they'll make 18 threes, but they'll make enough of those to beat Michigan tonight. Even when they shot 3 of 24, they've beaten everybody by double figures.
Yep.
They're loaded.
They had one cold three-point shooting game against Texas Tech in this tournament. They shot 4 for 24, but Tech shot 5 for 20. In Michigan, Villanova got to the free throw line 35 times and made 29, so that'll offset that.
Yes.
But I will remind you, Michigan is the best at defending the three in this tournament. They're holding teams to 24%, and they can play defense, so it's a matter of, are the threes going to fall or not? It's just hard for me to bet against experience in a team that has constantly been hot. This is the greatest three-point shooting team we've seen in the history of this tournament. They broke the record. So I'm going to think that they make enough threes to survive a lower scoring game. I'm going to say it's 70-60 Villanova.
Yeah, Bridges and Booth, who are starters now, they came off the bench for that national championship team. So they got enough depth and enough experience in this ball game. I don't think they'll be an all the moment. And it's good to see Jay Wright finally get the credit that he deserves, Skip. You know, people look at him like, man, he really dapper. He dabbing that. The dude can flat out coach.
He can.
Man, he can't dress O'Shea Sharp, but he can coach them games now. Yeah, O'Shea Sharp.
You went one step
No,
too far.
Had
it.
You know
and
what?
You blew it.
Where you know what?
Yep.
What are you looking for? Party bag. That's it for us. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern. Right now, Colin Cowherd tells you why the Cleveland Browns could screw up the first pick. The Herd starts now.
Celebrate that LeBron, Colin.
This is The Herd, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1 on a beautiful Monday today. All sorts of things going on. National championship game, Nova, Michigan tonight. Talk about that in 5 minutes. Christine Leahy is joining me, of course, here on a Monday. In which she said she was tired this morning. I was tired this morning. I didn't do anything except go to a baseball game all weekend.
And I did a lot this weekend, but I went to bed at 9:30. So did you.
I know.
Exhausted.
And I'm exhausted. But I have energy because it's a great day today.
And this.
And I got that too. I got that too. I want to start with this. It is amazing. Life, business, Wall Street, Main Street, sports. How often the great companies, they deserve credit, but have feasted on poorly run companies. In baseball, Ted Williams, Tony Gwynn, Wade Boggs, Derek Jeter, almost nobody hits the ace of the opposing staff. You live on the number 3 guy, the number 4 starter, the number 5 starter, the middle reliever, the second best closer. Because nobody really hits great pitching, right? Nobody really hits Clayton Kershaw. And even in sports and in business, the big dogs feast on the poorly run companies. Look at sports, for instance. I mean, that Warriors dynasty. You know why that was created? Because the historically irrelevant Minnesota Timberwolves took 2 guards before Steph Curry. 2 point guards. And a dynasty was created. And the poorly run Charlotte Hornets gave up Kobe Bryant for Vlade Divac, a bag of marbles, and an end table. And the Hornets are still irrelevant, and the Lakers got a dynasty out of it. The poorly run Miami Dolphins, their doctors said no to Drew Brees. Drew Brees is still in New Orleans, setting records. Portland passed on both Michael Jordan and Kevin Durant. They're now, one's an icon, one's close to an icon, one had a dynasty, Warriors win this year, it's officially another dynasty. Carson Wentz should have gone to Cleveland, but a poorly run franchise, the Browns, passed him up. And now the Eagles, who have been relevant in the NFL for most of the last 50 years, are really, really good and Super Bowl champs. To be great, you deserve a lot of credit, but it's remarkable how often the great teams and the great businesses feast on poorly run contemporaries. And the story this morning, Peter King's column, he is being told by a source that Cleveland Browns general manager John Dorsey will not draft Sam Darnold. They'll draft Josh Allen. And who will benefit? The New York Giants, who have been relevant forever, who have 4 Super Bowl titles. They will absolutely take Sam Darnold. That's nothing against the Warriors, but they feasted on the T-Wolves. And nothing against the Bulls and Pippen, but they feasted on Seattle. Dynasties are created through hard work and mistakes of poorly run franchises. By the way, there's a real psychology here. Cleveland passed on Carson Wentz, and the Browns have very low sports self-esteem. Carson Wentz was a no-name kid, huge arm, great at the combine, big, tall, athletic. Carson Wentz is Josh Allen, except way better. And Cleveland passed on him and was mocked, and people lost jobs, and they were ridiculed. And Cleveland is now saying, we're not going to let it happen again. What quarterback in this draft shares the most characteristics with Carson Wentz, who they passed on? Josh Allen. But I will remind you, let's put Josh Allen and Sam Darnold's numbers next to each other. Yeah, Sam played with better people, but played a significantly tougher schedule. Completion percentage, touchdown interception ratio, passer rating, wins, loss, yards per attempt, it's not even close. It is not even close. This is your classic low sport self-esteem franchise passing on Carson Wentz and trying to make amends with Josh Allen. And it is absolutely remarkable in the history of sports. When you look at these dynasties, the Lakers with Kobe, the Warriors with Steph, how many teams, 23, passed on Aaron Rodgers? A lot of bad franchises that still don't have a quarterback. The decision here is a really easy one. And according to Peter King, John Dorsey's about to hand the New York Giants more Super Bowls. It's the way it generally works. Well-run teams, relevant franchises feast on poorly run franchises and irrelevant franchises. Let me shift gears to this. Tonight's the national championship. There's 3 college basketball programs it's hard for me not to root for because I know and like their coach. Gonzaga, Mark Few, Duke, Coach K, and Villanova, Jay Wright. I used to cover him. His son's name is Colin. You can ask him. His wife was pregnant. I was a local sportscaster, and the wife said, I like the name Colin. It's a true story. Gone on to have a nice career. Good kid. All Collins. Very predictably disciplined. So tonight, Villanova goes in as a big favorite, biggest in years. And I think they could be in trouble. I'd like to see him win because I don't know John Beilein, though he's a great coach. But the entire Villanova brand has always been the underdog. Ohio State and Alabama football, they're the heavyweights. Duke and Kentucky and Kansas, they're often favorites. Villanova's brand is that small Philadelphia school. Biggest upset in college history, Rollie Massimino. A couple years ago, they hit a shot. Jay Wright stoic on the sidelines. They're like the little engine that could. And tonight they're in the championship, and they're a big favorite. And I'm not sure how they're going to react. Michigan's got several things in their favor tonight. A, Villanova can't shoot as well as they did against Kansas. It's not possible. And B, Michigan relies on defense and coaching. Those show up every night. Shooting does not. 5 reasons I think Michigan can beat Villanova tonight. They haven't lost since February 6th. They're the hottest team in the tournament. They've been 6-1 in close games. Villanova hasn't been in many close games. There is absolutely no pressure on Michigan. They're playing with house money. Many are surprised they're here. They're the biggest underdog in years. I think they may have the best coach in college basketball. And that's saying a lot, that they may have the better coach tonight, because Jay Wright may be one of the top 3 or 4. And they absolutely play as good a defense as anybody in college basketball not named West Virginia. Their brand at Villanova has been the dog, the scrappy, the little engine. For the last 24 hours, about 48 actually when the game starts, Villanova will be an absolute dominating favorite. How can you lose? Better team, more shooters, coming off a profoundly prolific night of shooting against Kansas. There is no way Villanova shoots like that. There is no way Villanova plays that well. Michigan, big dog, house money, great coach, better defense, no pressure, has made the championship game, and I would argue outside of their game against Texas A&M, has not played particularly great basketball for long stretches. I don't know if I have the guts yet, maybe by the end of the show. This is a 1 to 2 point game. I don't bet college basketball. If I did, it would all be on the Wolverines tonight. I'll take the team that plays better defense, perhaps the best situational coach in basketball, playing with a kid Von Wagner that may be the hottest player in the tournament, in a really, really difficult matchup. I think it's time for one of Joel Klatt's specialties. I think it's very, very, very close. This is my almost upset. My almost upset alert. By the end of the show, I may call it. I saw that line, 6.5, and I went, no. If I bet college basketball, all my chips are on the Wolverines. I think Villanova's tight tonight. They're in a very unique situation where they're supposed to win. If they don't win, come on, way better players. It's going to be really, really interesting tonight. Coming up next, who the media likes in football are generally the guys that don't win in football. John Gruden already creating a little stir, and I love it. That's coming up. Spring has sprung. It's time for a little spring cleaning. But instead of going to the garage or instead of going to the closets, why don't you go to your dresser drawer and replace the old multi-pack underwear? It is time for a revolutionary clothing change. Tommy John underwear. Smart fabrics. Eliminates bunching, squishing, rising up. Wedgie-proof. It's committed to providing unparalleled comfort. Socks. They have them that stay up all day at Tommy John. Lightweight undershirts. Wearing one now that never comes untucked. The great thing about Tommy John, I still have most of the pairs I initially bought years ago. It doesn't shrink. Ever. Ever. Best pair you'll ever wear, or its free guarantee. TommyJohn.com, code HERD for 20% off your first order. TommyJohn.com, code HERD.